I'm going to read some poems from my heresies, and I would love it if you guys, there are some copies out there. I would love it if you purchased some copies to support the bookstore, which is a wonderful bookstore and which I had the pleasure of reading for a couple, was it weeks ago, a month ago? Okay, so I'm going to start with Ode to Something Elusive. Not Ozymandias or love this morning. I could walk to the edge of craving and never quit looking. I followed piety along the tracks, smoked a butt, measured the city's contingents, slid 2 honeysuckles between my lips in lieu of mints. The coal train chuggled past in gold and black, its slowness militant as the lie a man offers his mistress. Harbinger of diamond to come, I came closest. The sky suckled its cold teat. I did not know where I was, what time wanted. An epic, tagged in red, beneath the bridge, Dante was. So heresies are basically statements that, well, everyone defines them differently depending on who you talk to, but they are statements that are bad enough, according to whoever the authorities are, to be considered a threat. And so they're usually criminalized. So there's some strange stories about saints and angels and martyrs and mystics and all sorts of strange people. And this is one of them. Little things a ring. Virtue is complicated. I mean, Catherine of Siena had her cake and God ate by it. This is what happens to saints when they marry tripartite entities. One gave her an invisible ring, crafted from his foreskin. Another third denied it. The third kept quiet. I, too, would appreciate being courted at the leveling of the sacred. If I can't partake of the trifecta, I will settle for that flaming thing in the angel's right hand. Look at you, man, guarding the idea of a garden. Look at all the swords and rings and lords you forged to keep Adam and Eve from returning. I was going to bring someone asked about our dog. I think Dee Dee Jackson. We were talking in the green room about our dog, and someone asked if we'd had a dog before the dog we have now, whom I love very much. And this is the story about the dog we had before. It's titled 2 years after our dog Pinka got hit by a car on Halloween and died before our eyes as the kids howled in ghost costumes on the front lawn. We babysit 2 guinea pigs named Bitch and Luther. You Dream Pinka went on tour with Metallica. I can't look at October grass without gagging. Someone retrace our grins to give back the night I dressed up as Emma Goldman. What line did we cross in letting her in? When someone says puppies, Max cringes. Mila hopes dogs have a heaven without cars or humans. Micah knows love is only here for a minute before the giddy retirees run it over. An arpeggio scalds the throat. I was 10 when the bully confessed an old man had hurt him. Suffering begs the question of cruelty. Or which egg hatched first? One makes a nest to draw robins closer. We house sit, 3 hens. The kids learn to swim. We coddle a school of pet spiders. We keep a bowl stocked with vociferous rocks and bogged marvels. A window opens upon the poem's accident. You say each costumed creature must find shiny words to placate their beast. We tell ourselves, plants talk. I cannot. I'm noticing the strange poems that I marked in here to read, and I always second guess myself. How many do I have left? Okay. All right. Evil eye. In Romania, the evil eye is a thing. It's basically just envy. It's the fear of being envied, right? And I think it's true in a lot of cultures, especially village culture. So when we came to the U.S., when I was little, my mom would always tell me in Romanian, in certain circumstances, to beware of the evil eye. Evil eye. The one which began the division of labors, the first miracle. An angel who tumbles can turn into a serpent who trolls the garden of your delights. But I was your favorite, she said, as she toppled from the sky. Oh, how she fell for envying Adam, that monster made in God's image, the apple of his fickle little eye. Why one cloud is kin to not liking. The reason my husband's family doesn't like me is that I am loud and talkative and elitist. I am a know-it-all book nerd who acts certain about the outrageous horseshit galloping out of her horse-tooth mouth. These are the facts. The park is emptied by a pandemic, and everything is warm, cozy, abandoned, until one single cloud creeps over the sun and reveals the power of chilling. Go away, my son commands the cloud. I, who would never dare address a cloud like this, can still admire the mammal that is loud and talkative and elitist in his presumptive relations with condensation events. The truth about clouds is that they haven't happened. They are collections of things which may come to pass or change the sun's frame on a landscape. It rained the whole day of our November wedding, like a Guns N' Roses song, and the sun came out in time for the sunset. We married for its orangeade eyes. They never liked me. Even then, in my white hand-sewn dress, I was presumptuous. My bare feet were a form of private aggression against middle-class values. In their eyes, I could only be baggage, the single mother he saved. The cloud will move eventually, I tell my son. The cloud cannot be the reason everything is ruined, I tell his family. The park is empty. There's a lot of clouds in this. I'm going to read one more cloud, and then I'm going to do the thing I always do, which is read a poem that hasn't been published everywhere and is in draft, and end with that. So this is called Etude in Blue Minor, and a lot of these were, there's some incredible images. There's an image that's sort of a picture that really inspired a lot of these. It's a passport that's just a picture of clouds, and it's supposed to look like a passport, and that's behind a lot of these poems. So, Etude in Blue Minor. A cloud survives for 10 minutes on average before dissolving into someone's blue eyes or the edge of a scorpion's size. It is a complex violence. The poem memory devises from waiting to become rain. The syntax of expectation, needling the brain. The bravado of cars parked like classical guitars in paved places. Did I compose them? As a teen, I notched the wood above my bed, Each line staked a claim. Each spike marked a book in my head, a dream I had read. And I am still scoring forgiveness. This labor of returning to the perilous world, the words one has most needed from it. Okay, there's some pictures. So this is called Ovid Said Not to Look at the Source of It. Ovid said this in a book about love, and he was basically like, don't look at the source because it'll mess you up. Ovid didn't have good things to say about love. Ovid was exiled, and he looked across the sea and felt very sorry for himself and wrote basically a whole book called Tristia, which means sadness. And he was exiled in the coast of what is now Romania in the Black Sea. And there's a statue there. But that's a different poem in a different place. And this is Ovid said not to look at the source of it. No one is you to me. No one is mouth over mine like that. None can be, I holding I, like no bounds ever matter. Immaterial that no me of mine has duly recovered. Astra inclinat, sed non obligant. I strode towards the street with fewest lights last night and sought the least lit spot to hide me. And no one is, and none really can, not ever again. Yet there was a shudder, a sliver, a swiftness, an instant of excess, when the monstrous white cloud poured itself into the naked expanse between an oak's empty branches. And the darkness behind the house did nothing. The dark didn't fail to resist. The dark failed to resist the rifts filling. The dark did not move to reclaim the terrain it had lost. And the cloud occupied the opening I could not and could never have been in your arms years ago at LaGuardia. Thank you all so much.